In those months when I was pregnant, all around this same time, so we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Regarding those conversations about Archie's skin tone, what was the overall reaction on that side of the pond?
I mean, it's just been, it's shocking. It's been received with as much shock and disbelief here, this side of the pond, as it has in America. I mean, the suggestion is very clear. The suggestion is that there is racism within the institution. I mean, that is a huge and explosive allegation to make.
He did not share the identity with me, but he wanted to make sure that I knew, and if I had an opportunity to share it, that it was not his grandmother nor his grandfather that were a part of those conversations.
It would point very glaringly towards Charles then.
Not surprisingly, this allegation has been picked up around the world. It has turned into a very ugly race row, which the monarchy has found itself right at the centre. Of course, we have to wait to see whether they're going to respond to those allegations. I think Prince Harry has quickly realised the seriousness of it. Oprah was told to make it clear to Gayle King that it wasn't the Queen or the Duke of Edinburgh, who is, of course, ill and recovering from a heart operation in hospital at the moment. But of course, it's opened up a Pandora's box, and there is something now of a witch hunt to find out which royal it is. And, you know, the suggestion is that if it's Charles, if it's William, and that's a very big if, no one knows, it's pure speculation, which is the problem with that answer, then that, you know, that has real repercussions for the monarchy. Charles is going to be the next king. After that, William.
Does that haunt Charles in many ways, whether he said it or not? Does that insinuation now haunt Charles?
Well, to be honest, I don't think it really matters which member of the royal family said it. It's the fact that a member of the royal family expressed those views, who is almost irrelevant. The concerning thing is that someone felt that way.
I never thought that I would have my security removed because I was born into this position. I inherited the risk. So that was a shock to me. That was what completely changed the whole plan.
Why would the palace be so insistent on removing security for a position that, as Harry said, he inherited?
Prince Harry, from the day he was born, has had a close protection officer who has been by his side every minute of every day. That was his birthright. As a working member of the royal family, that was what he was entitled to. When he and Meghan decided that they were going to stand down as senior royals, they lost that security detail. They were no longer public servants, therefore they didn't get the taxpayer-funded security detail. They were essentially cut adrift, and that's not the royal family being mean. Over here in Britain, if they were continuing to get British taxpayer-funded security, the royal family would have come under huge fire. They weren't here working in Britain, they were living in Canada, and then they moved to LA. It was their decision to stand down, and therefore security then became their responsibility.
At the end of the day, the average Brit, how do they feel about that moment? Because it was a moment that made people gasp. How are they viewing the monarchy today? Because that, you know, you're talking about a country, a commonwealth that is very, very diverse.
These claims have come on Commonwealth Day, a day that is incredibly important to the Queen. She's very proud that she presides over so many multiracial realms and countries. And there is a feeling of shock over here at these allegations, a feeling of disbelief. And certainly among some commentators and some parts of the public who are clearly very divided on social media, a huge amount of offence that the Queen, the institution, the royal family is being accused of racism, when, you know, the Queen simply, it has to be said, is not racist.
How do they handle this? Because we know that historically, the palace just likes to stay mum. But can they in this situation?
Well, the Queen's mantra has always been never complain, never explain. I think the palace were hoping, and certainly newspapers were being briefed over the weekend, that this would just be a storm that blew over given time. I think we've all realised on both sides of the pond that this storm is not going to go away anytime soon. A can of worms has been opened, some very serious things have been said, and I think the palace really have no choice but to issue some sort of a comment.
Does the palace also miss that they don't have a face that can just look? You know, in the past, these have been very kind of stiff 2, 5, 10-line statements. Will this change? Will someone come out and talk like a human being to other human beings for once?
It's not the Queen's way to wear her heart on her sleeve. And I actually think it should be pointed out that in some of the statements that we have seen released by Buckingham Palace, which have clearly got the Queen's stamp on it, a sense of real empathy, a sense of love, a sense of affection that we are not used to seeing or hearing from the Queen. I think she has been very generous in her recognition of the couple. We don't know if we're going to get a statement. We have no idea how that will be worded. But I think the Queen is very in touch with the tone and the mood of the nation. And I think she will know exactly how to address that.